Chat made me watch this reviews, courtesy of Kel. I had to watch Requiem for a Dream. Requiem for a Dream. I had wondered, is this movie I heard about where at the very end Jennifer Connelly does a thing? And yes, this was that movie. I had heard about it, and oh man. Okay, here's the thing. Quick rundown. Yes. Yes. All right, so essentially, this takes place in the 80s. This is very much a movie, a period piece set in the 80s. Essentially, the life and times of some druggies, some junkie druggies who get it in their head that they're going to be big-time drug dealers and the fallout in their immediate lives of trying to do so. Got starring Jared Leto, Marlon Wayans, Ellen Bernstein, and Jennifer Connelly. And with a cameo that I'm going to save for the part that surprised the hell out of me. A couple cameos that did surprise the hell out of me. So essentially, Jared Leto and Marlon Wayans are a couple of junkies, one more so than the other, who are at first just getting by. Apparently, the movie opens where Jared Leto steals his mother's TV regularly to sell it to a pawn shop to get money so that him and Marlon Wayans can get high. And then Ellen Bernstein will always go back and get the TV and bring it back. And what this is, it's a fucked up, very sad and depressing movie. Because sometimes in these movies, where you get your aspiring drug kingpin heroes, you kind of are lulled into rooting for them. You know, you're kind of, oh man, I want to, even though they're horrible people and they're criminals, I'm rooting for them to succeed here. Come on, get your dream, this and that. You don't root for these people. These are terrible, disgusting, depraved people who literally shoot away everything into their arm. Meth? That was meth? I thought it was, first it was cocaine, and then it was heroin? Because he was shooting heroin into his arm in the end. I swear to God, oh God, just thinking about that scene, it's nasty. Anyway, so what you have is there's four plots to this movie. There's the combined plot of them wanting to be drug kingpins. Then there's Ellen Bernstein's plot, the mom, who is, well, that's just speed. That wasn't meth. That was just regular old speed. Back in the day, that was speed. I don't think that was meth. It was just speed. Meth wasn't made yet in the 80s. They didn't have meth. Wasn't the meth you know it is today yet. Anyway, so you have the main characters are wanting to build their little mini drug empire. They think they're so smart. Then you've got Ellen Bernstein, who's just alone with her life. But then she gets a phone call that says she's been selected to be on a game show. And to her, that's like the pinnacle of her existence in her lonely, sad life. There's actually one really good scene in this movie. It's a really good scene. So what happens is her storyline is she wants to lose 50 pounds to fit into her special red dress. The last dress she wore before her husband died with him at Jared Leto's high school graduation. But she's so fat she can't fit into it. So she tries to do a diet, which isn't working, going too slow. So one of her stupid girlfriends in the building tells her a story about her niece who took diet pills. And so now she goes to the doctor. She goes to a sketchy-ass doctor. She gets some speed. And she basically gets high. And she loses the weight because she's a druggie now. And at one point where it takes place over a summer, fall, winter. And in the summers when they got their idea to be drug lords and they started buying a little bit and selling and making money. And Jared Leto, who apparently does love his mom, buys her a new TV or says he's going to buy her a TV, goes to visit her, and she's talking to him and they're having a conversation. The only really good scene in the movie, well, there's two good scenes. The other one is the surprise cameo, which is just so sketchy. It's awesome. Where she gives this
this monologue about how alone she is now that her husband is dead and that he's not in the home anymore. And that is heart-wrenching right there, because that is a truth right there. And there, I think right there in that moment, there is a kernel of what this movie could have been if it had had good direction, good acting, and good production value. Because the direction is, of course, they try to be fancy with a lot of different camera tricks, and it's terrible. It's just abominable. Anyway, but she gives a speech how I'm alone. And you're barely here anymore. Your father's gone. But now, because I'm going to be on this TV show, I'm the most popular old lady in the building. Everybody wants to talk to me. And then I'm going to be on TV with my red hair in my red dress, and everybody's going to know about me, and I'll be able to tell stories about you and your father's world. Everybody's going to be so excited, and I'm going to be somebody because I'm alone. And there's the thing. I mean, that's the core of this movie, loneliness. All these people are alone for one reason or another, even when they're around people. So there was a core good idea in this movie, but it's just executed so poorly with these horrible characters that you feel nothing for. Because as expected, these people who want to become drug kingpins, and of course, then you got Jennifer Connelly, who's the girlfriend of Jared Leto, and she wants to be a fashion designer, but she's also a druggie, just like all of them are druggies. And here's the thing. You learn this rule. If you ever watch New Jack City with Wesley Snipes and Ice-T, never sample your own product. Don't sample your product. The only way you're going to be a good drug kingpin is if you're not getting high, bitch. Don't get high on your product. But all these dumbasses keep getting high on their own product. So what happens is they keep making dumb decisions. And then, of course, they get caught up in the 80s drug wars that are going on amidst the gangs. Right as Marlon Wayans' character is about to get bumped up to the next level with the gang he's working with, a drug war starts, and they all get killed, and he barely escapes with his life. And after that, it all dries up. The drugs dry up. The suppliers from Florida ain't bringing in the stuff anymore. So what happens is they're getting strung out. They're getting strung out. So everybody in this movie is getting strung out. So you got Jared Leto, Jennifer Connelly, and Marlon Wayans. They're strung out. You got poor Ellen Bernstein, who is now getting used to the amount of speed she's getting, so she starts mixing her pills, because she says she takes multiple pills in the day, 3 uppers and 1 downer, and she starts mixing them, so she literally destroys her brain chemistry, and she loses her mind. She thinks the refrigerator's trying to eat her or some shit like that. And the horrible doctor she goes through just gives her a Valium and stuff like that, keeps giving her pills. So she loses her mind at one point. She's literally a strung out old lady on the subway. She gets picked up and put into an insane asylum. It's the 80s. Insane asylums were still there. So she gets shoved into an insane asylum, and they treat her horribly there. They try different drugs to get her straight, and eventually she goes through electroshock therapy, which fries her brain. Anyway, so that's eventually her story, because her son left her alone because he's strung out. Him and Marlon Wayans are trying to find money, they're trying to find more drugs and more money, and eventually, predictably, they're going to whore out Jennifer Connelly. Now, we had gotten a shot earlier in the movie where she had a sugar daddy that she sort of played around with to get some money here and there, something to do with like therapy or something like that. And it had been a long time, but now they're so desperate for money. They're all so desperate to get their next fix that they need his money to get to buy into the next shipment coming up. So she goes and whores herself out, because Jared Leto makes her do it, because he's strung out too. And they still can't get any drugs, because then there's a whole fiasco with the drug buying going on there. Some other junkie brings a gun, and the dudes from Florida leave. So what happens is he comes back without the drugs, and she flips out on him and tells him you're a loser. And he says, you know what, fine. Here, we're going to pay off for something else that happened early in the movie. There's this one guy who's got plenty of drugs, but he won't sell it. He won't sell it. He'll only give it for the pussy. He only wants it for the pussy. So in a fit of rage, Jared Leto says, here's the number of the guy. You want your drugs so bad, Jennifer Connelly? Go get your drugs. Go sell your ass to that dude. And she goes to it. And here's the best mode movie. Opens up. It's Keith fucking David going, yeah, come on in. It's like, Keith David, what are you doing in this movie? What is Keith David doing in this movie? As this guy who clearly is not a drug addict, he's a powerful man who bought a lot of drugs and used to get the pussy in the ass. And he gives us this whole speech about how only white girls suck the D really well, and how black chicks don't suck the D really well. He makes Jennifer Connelly go down on him. It's insane. It's insane. And then when they're done, he says, "Listen, Marion, because her name's Marion. Call me Little John." So I'm Little John. And no, not his voice. Yeah, his voice in there because he's in the movie. He's in the movie. You see Keith David's man ass in the movie. Kratos, you get a shot of Keith David's man ass in this movie. All right, that's what you get. And he says to her, "Listen, you got a fine white girl ass. Well, I got this thing. You're perfect for it. Come on by. Got a lot of gentlemen. You can make a lot of money." And and she doesn't want to do it at first, but then Jared Leto freaks out when she comes back because he gets the money and he comes back with the drugs. So then she's gonna. Oh, he's already gone. I'm sorry, he's gone. Sorry, he's already gone because him and Marlon Wayans decided to go to Florida. They decided, hey, we're gonna be kingpins. Let's go to Florida where the actual drugs are coming from and buy it straight from the horse's mouth. Problem is, Jared Leto is such a junkie at this point. He's been injecting into the same part on his arm that it's just infected. It's like an open sore wound, and he keeps injecting the shit in there. You see it? It's disgusting. And him and Marlon Wayans get to, like, I think North Carolina. I think they get as far as North Carolina because they run full into 80s white racisms when he takes Jared Leto to the doctor because he's dying from basically an infection in his arm, necrosis, and they get thrown in jail, and they all kinds of gamer words get tossed around while they're in jail, and Jared Leto gets his arm cut off. There's this whole sequence now. The final 15 minutes of the movie is this horrible compilation of cuts back and forth of everybody suffering. You've got Jared Leto crying because he's like, I want Marion, but he's getting his arm cut off. You got Marlon Wayans going through detox in prison, vomiting into the mashed potatoes he's mixing. You got Ellen Bernstein getting shock therapy, and Jennifer Connelly's Marion had talked to Jared Leto before he went to prison, or he was in prison before he went to the hospital to get his arm cut off, saying, "Can you come get me right now?" If he had been there to come get her, then she would have been saved. Instead, she ends up going to Keith David's crazy sex party, where she walks in there, and it's a bunch of him and a bunch of old white dudes standing around a bunch of other naked girls, betting on them to do sexual things to each other. And that's where the ass to ass comes in. At one point, it says, one other hooker there goes, okay, what am I doing now? And they bring out this giant double-ended black dildo and says to her, ass to ass. And Jennifer Connelly is slapping ass, or maybe her body double was, I don't know, slapping ass with this other chick, and all the other guys going, yeah, and Keith David going, yeah, and it's just insane. It's madness, and they're just throwing money at these girls. They're going ass to ass on this dildo together. It's nuts. It's insane. And everybody's just literally dying, and like Ellen Bernstein's getting shock therapy, and her girlfriends who got her into the diet pills in the first place, they see her with her shaved, cut hair, and they're crying, and she's suffering permanent delusions, and Jared Leto's had his arm amputated, and Marlon Wayans is in prison in detox. And then Jennifer Connelly is now a whore. And she's happy about it because she returns to her apartment that she trashed when she was looking for her fix. And she reaches into her pants and pulls out this giant pimp roll of money. And then she holds it close and smiles, and you realize she's now going to be basically a sexual gladiator in Keith David's old man sexual arena. And that's the end of the movie. Oh, this movie was nuts. It was insane. It's just terrible. I told you, the directing was horrible. They keep using fancy camera tricks to try and fool you that it looks like it's high art, but it's not. A lot of weird close-ups and the camera rotating and side-by-side shots, a little crossfade bullshit too. Terrible movie. Acting is horrible. Jared Leto's terrible. Jared Leto, as we said, this whole thing happened because Kel wanted to make you watch a movie that Jared Leto was in, that he starred in, and it was terrible. It's just bad. It's just a horrible, horrible movie that you could tell could have been a heart-wrenching movie with better writing, better acting, and better direction. There it is. Chat made me watch this reviews. Requiem for a Dream. God help me. My soul is now stained having seen this abomination. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.